Man, I cannot tell you how much I love this song. We are so lucky to have Monika Roscher here with us from the Monika Roscher Bigband, all the way from Munich. Monika, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm
Uh,
excited to be here.
this album is so good. I would love to play the full 8-minute track, but I just want to find out more about you and the music that you make. Somebody suggested this song on a previous monthly playlist, and sometimes we get incredible recommendations like this. And honestly, I probably listened to this whole album 10 times in just a couple of days. And I when I like something, I just go deep in it. So this is an awesome album, and I hope lots of people discover your music through this interview. But I'll shut up now. You tell us about yourself. Tell us about this band, your music, and the story behind this record.
Yeah. I'm from Munich and from Nuremberg, and I'm a guitar player and play Stratocaster. And I always wanted to play a rock band, And then I somehow got into jazz, and then I started playing with these jazz musicians. And then I was in the university, and I even studied jazz guitar. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to have a little small band and play with them. And in the last semester, we had to write for the big band. And I was like, okay, do I have to write like a standard big band chart, or how do I do it? And the teacher was like, no, just write whatever you want. I was like, oh, okay, I can write whatever I want. Okay, so that's what I did. And then it was funny because everybody brought like a normal standard big band tune, and I brought something wilder. And then everyone was like, oh, that's interesting. You should write more. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then yeah, we finished school, and I was like, okay, so let's try to make a big band. So and that's what we did. I called everyone, and I was like, okay, let's plan a concert. Let's do this. And yeah, so this is how the band started. And yeah, and that's, I don't know if that decision was good because it's so much organization. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I do wonder about that because I watched a couple of your live performances, including Zapanale, and
Mhm.
and it's a lot of people, and that's a lot of music to write and maintain and perform well. I mean, I feel like you are carrying on the tradition of Frank Zappa with these very ornate orchestrations, as well as just really wild live performances. You're theatrical. It's great. Your music videos are over the top, super cool. Tell us about your relationship with Frank Zappa's music. How did you end up at the Zappanale? And you're friends with Jan Serfeld from Panzer Ballet, who has also performed there. So anything that you can tie in there would be great too.
Yeah, I think it probably is because we are all guitar players, and we write for the big ensemble, so you kind of have the same approach probably, and the same thoughts how to write them, because usually people come from the piano and they have those arrangements, but when you come from the rock music, you have different influences, and I think that is a parallel between us all maybe. And uh, and a bit maybe fearlessness just to try something, and if it fails, it's not so, it's, nobody's gonna die if something weird is happening. So that's the good part in music, I think, because you can always be very like, try out something, be honest about it, and if you fail, you're like, okay, we didn't make it this time, but next time we're gonna try it again. And that's what I like about music. There are no rules. You can stretch them, you can do anything. And I like my musicians, and we are all friends, and we really like, we play, I guess, since over 10 years now together. So we know each other very well, and I know how to write for them, and I know how we talk, when we want to find something together. So it's very a trustful relationship. So, and I think that's also very important for a band like this to even to work at all, to, because it's like logistic and organization, it's so terrible. So it has to be fun to be together on the road. So we always try to make it a big event, and we are all happy to see each other when we play concerts and we practice. So it's, I think, a very familiar place together. So And Zapanale probably, I don't know why. Actually, we played some concerts and people came after and we talked after the concert and they were like, ah, you should go to Zapanale. And I was never there and I didn't know about it. And at some point there were so many telling me that. And I was like, okay, let's go there. And then I called them and we got invited. And yeah, it was really a wonderful concert.
Yeah, how did the fans receive you? I imagine it was a very positive response.
Yes, this was like in Germany we say when you have like a pen in the top of the pen when something just fits and you don't know why it fits, but it's like we played like 2 tunes or 3 tunes and they were amazing. I was like, okay, why do you know us? We don't know each other. Why is it so great? And that's because of sometimes some audiences know that some weird tradition of being open, being not wanting to hear something or are open for new stuff. And Zappa fans are very open, and also jazz fans often are open, and that is something that's really working for us. Of course, there are also like traditional jazz people that are like, is that even jazz? And I'm like, I don't care if it's jazz. I just like music, you know? So whatever it is, that's it, you know? And that's what the people there, they feel it or they know it. It doesn't matter what direction music is, it's just free. And music is itself and it's not the like corner from where you come.
So tell us about some of your influences. Who are you listening to and what how does it lead to 8 to 10 minute long big band dark pieces like, what we just heard?
Yeah, so there's a lot and a lot of from different corners. So when we talk about classical music like Stravinsky or something, that's I really love it. When I heard it the first time, it's opening and it's growing, and you're like, wow, what's happening, you know? And I love to go to concerts. Like I've seen Goretzky number 4 in the concert. And I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, what is happening? You know, it was so great and I love these moments. But also, I have the same with when I go to Queens of the Stone Age, for example, or the Mars Volta, or when I listen to the old Mahavishnu Orchestra band. You know, so they are from each corner. I can find something that I really love in the music. But I also like sometimes like Björk, like pop music. But when it's exciting pop, you know, when it's you hear a melody but it's not just a melody and some basic to it, but something's happening around it, you know, something small where you can go inside and be, you know, yeah, it's uh, flowery and happening, you know, so exciting. So that's what I like. I always get bored pretty early when there's music like too much in, well, not always, but this happens to me sometimes. So I'm always like, oh, this must be a lot, you know, like a picture with a lot of stuff happening.
That's great. Okay, so I want to play a song called Failure in Wonderland. Could you maybe set up what we're about to hear? Just tell us about the song.
Um, yeah, so Ach, Prinzessinnen was from our latest album from 2023, and Failure in Wonderland is on our first album. This is like, I think, the second song I ever wrote. And this was, yeah, I don't know. This was I was in a dark place, but I always wanted to have the energy as well to break it open and to like have like a rock moment on to it and a little bit of trip hop maybe. Yeah,
Awesome.
like this.
All right, well, let's take a listen to Failure in Wonderland. It's another 7.5 minute piece, so we'll just listen to maybe the first half of it. But it's a pretty wild, exploratory song. I fell in love with it. I think you're just awesome. Your music's great. All right, here we go.
Don't be tired, you know, the night is young. Set me on fire till the morning comes. If passion's pure and this life's the only one, then why did you leave before the morning comes? Keep each moment we're together. Keep this time we do it you'll find love in any sight you see. I never will forget moments with you.
I hate to even cut it off. It's all so good. So you have a brand new album that you just announced today for pre-order. Why don't you tell us about it and where people can get it?
Yeah, this is our first live album, and this was really like tough to make actually, because we usually come to a club and we play, and then we have to have like 2 or 3 hours of a sound check, and then try to get everything working. And we have live electronics, and sometimes the computer has a new update or something. So something is always happening. So it's really tough to make a line checks that you can make a like a good sound recording. And we had a concert in Munich where we had time the whole day. So I was like, okay, guys, we have to do this now. This is our chance. So, and that's last year. So, and then we recorded everything up, and mostly it's the new stuff from the new album, but also some older pieces. And like I say, our highlights that we like to play live. And yeah, and I think it's a difference, because you usually, when you play live, music is happening at the moment. You like a train, you go inside and then you just go and you look what's happening. And then if you play on an album, you're like, okay, can I fix that? Can I try stuff? And then you don't try stuff. It's just okay. That's how it was. So it was really exciting to make it, and we have some great like solos on it, and yeah. So I'm really excited about it, and we have a really great technical engineer who always like put the microphone so the audience is also hearable, and so yeah. I'm excited about it.
Excellent. What is the I mean, I have the page up here. Witchy Activities live album. And it's available for pre-order, and it's
Yeah.
coming out June, right? June 20th.
Mhm.
And tell us about the formats.
Like formats, like why we don't stream
Physical.
it, or
Yeah, it's not
oh yeah,
streaming, and it's all physical, right?
yeah. So I mean, like every musician, you're like, okay, so how are we surviving? You know, like because it's Spotify is really great to use it, you know, because it's really handy. You can check everything. It's super cool, but it's hard to live from it, you know. So we thought, okay, maybe we can check if we can make a living more if we don't put everything on stream. So that's just for us to try, you know, and we will see what's happening, and maybe we're gonna like release some videos to it or something, but yeah, so that's what we thought. But maybe we are too small a band to have like an impact if we deny all the streamings, but so it's like a little bit where we say, okay, let's not do it.
Well, I love that. I mean, we need to experiment, and we need to learn what works for us. We also have to figure out how to live, especially
Exactly,
as
yeah.
musicians. So that I think it's a great idea. I'm going to put the link on the screen for people to see it, and also there will be a link in the video description below the video player. Uh, yeah, so tell people, like, are the arrangements exactly the same and the solos are different? Or, I've seen your live videos and there is a very different energy, but tell us a little more about what to expect.
Um, yes, it's well, it's all a bit different because we don't have like a steady pulse. So we always play. We have electronics, but they are on top. So they are all, we have no time pulse. So it's always free. So one song might be faster or one song might be slower, you know, and yeah, it has a totally different vibe, I think. And solos are more open. Sometimes we change in the band. So we say, oh, do you want to play this solo tonight? Oh, yes, I have a great idea. So let's change it, you know? So we do that as well. So yeah, stuff like that is happening.
What's your perspective as the band leader? Do you take on that role, or do you feel like you're just another musician in the band? It seems like you're very moved by music and you live more in the moment during the performance, but I'd like to hear more about your philosophy on that.
Mm. So for me, it's always like about doing stuff, and if we play, I hear it. You know, it's we. I think musicians always like to talk about stuff, and then sometimes we talk so much, and then we don't even do it. You know, and then I'm always like, hey, let's try this. You know, I'm always like, let's try. If somebody has an idea, then let's try. You know, and then we all know how it feels or if it makes sense. And I'm writing the music and I bring him, and then we practice together, and then I get feedback. You know, people tell me, oh, this is like this sounds like that. If you want to write it like this, it would sound a bit different or better, or you know. And then I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, let's try this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, great idea. Or I'm like, oh, I would like to keep it like that. So I'm in an open dialogue, I would say. And also, when we talk about solos, I call the people before and I'm like, okay, can you play that? I'll send you something. Can you record it? You know, I'm working parallel a little bit if I have an idea if it's too high or is it too low, or you know. So I feel we have a great communication, and we are very open to each other, and we criticize each other, and that's fine. And we know of each other's what we're not so good in, but we know where we are good in. So when we like to support everyone who is good at something, you know.
I love that. That's really great. So we're gonna play one last song, and that was called. Oh, it was about the birds. I have it written down. Entering
Yeah.
birds.
Oh
This
yeah.
track is a little different. It's a little wild,
Oh yeah.
and since it's make weird music, this definitely fits, fits the bill. Tell us about this song before we hear it.
Oh yeah, so seriously, it happened because there was a bird in my road. Like every morning, I heard this bird. Every morning, the same melody. It was like do do do, and sometimes was like do 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 do. And I was like, come on, what is that, And I never listened to birds before. And then I was like, okay, I have to check that out. So I went to an ornithology class in the forest. And this was amazing because I suddenly started listening to birds. And since then, I never stop. Every time when I'm outside, I'm listening what's happening. So there's a whole world opening up I've never heard before. And it's happening all the time parallel to our life. So I really love that. And in that moment, I brought the woman the bird and was like, "Oh, I think it's a really cool bird and very special." And she was like, "Yeah, it's a standard. Oh, it's in German, Buchfink. I don't know what's it in English."
Oh, I think it's
Um,
bullfinch.
okay, yeah. So it was like a pretty normal, and now I hear him everywhere.
That's
But at
funny.
that moment,
I
yeah,
remember we stayed in Munich for 1 or 2 weeks in 2017. And I remember that bird
yeah.
because it's such a distinct bird call, and they are all over Munich. So,
Yes,
yeah.
they're everywhere. So and that was really great. So the whole thing opened up and I was like, oh, I need to, it's on music everywhere. I need to collect it. So I started going around and recording stuff, and it was always so high that I had to transpose it down to the piano at least and check it out. And then I got a bit wild, and I wrote this whole piece now.
All right. Well, let's take a listen. Thank you so much, Monica. I really appreciate you sharing your music with us. Come on. There we go.